Hi everyone, this video is about 50 words used in relation to COVID-19. The words are in alphabetical order. So let's start the lesson. And one request, please watch the video till the end. Animal human interface, noun. Meaning any point where animals and humans meet. Sentence. Animal disease can potentially pass to humans at any animal human interface such as a zoo, farm or animal market. Asymptomatic, adjective, meaning showing no symptoms of a particular disease. Sentence. She had no idea her husband had coronavirus because he was asymptomatic. Carrier, noun, meaning a person or animal that transmits a disease to others whether suffering from it themselves or not. Sentence. People who carry people who are asymptomatic can still be carriers. Carry, verb, meaning be infected with a disease and able to transmit it to others. Sentence. Whether symptomatic or asymptomatic, some people may carry coronavirus without knowing it. Community spread, noun, meaning transmission of a disease directly within a community and not by importation from a foreign source. Sentence. With this many new positive cases, the evidence suggests that we now have community spread right here in our country. Contact tracing, noun, meaning identification and monitoring of people who may have had contact with an infectious person. Sentence. By insisting on strict contact tracing, as soon as someone was potentially infected, they managed to control the spread of the disease. Contagious, adjective, meaning describing a disease that can pass from person to person, usually by direct contact. Sentence. Patients who are still contagious are kept in isolation. Coronavirus, noun, meaning any one of a large family of virus that can cause disease in the breathing and eating symptoms of humans and animals. Respiratory and digestive system. Coronavirus diseases can range from the relatively harmless common cold to more severe and potentially fatal diseases such as SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. Seen through a microscope, coronavirus appear circular with spikes like crowns and are named from the Latin for crown, which is corona. Coronaviruses normally originate in animals and usually cannot be passed to humans, but very occasionally a coronavirus mutates and can then be transmitted from animal to human and then from human to human. This is how the SARS epidemic started in the early 2000. Sentence. Did you know that flu is a coronavirus disease? COVID-19, noun, meaning official name for the novel coronavirus disease that emerged in China in 2019. All countries are requested to report any new confirmed case of COVID-19 within 48 hours. Diagnose, verb, meaning identify an illness by examining the symptoms. Sentence. Only a medical professional can properly diagnose the cause of your problem. Diagnosis, noun, meaning identification of an illness by examination of the symptoms. Sentence. If you are not happy with the doctor's diagnosis, you could always get a second opinion. Disease. Noun. Meaning illness, sickness, a disorder of the body. Sentence. Polio is one of the several serious diseases that have been nearly eradicated. Droplets. Noun. Meaning the spray produced when people cough or sneeze and which can spread diseases like COVID-19. Sentence. Healthcare personnel wear protective clothing to guard against the disease carried in droplets when infected people sneeze or cough. Epidemic. Noun. Meaning occurrence of a particular disease in a large number of people in a particular area. Sentence. The city was devastated by an epidemic of cholera in the 19th century. Flatten the curve. Verb figurative. Meaning change the steep upward curve on a graph of a new disease cases to a flatter, shallower upward curve over a longer time period through measures such as social distancing. Sentence. Authorities hope that by introducing social distancing, they will be able to flatten the curve and avoid hospitals being rapidly overwhelmed with new cases. Herd immunity. Noun. Meaning an indirect protection from a disease resulting from a large percentage of the population gaining immunity, either through vaccination or through recovering from the disease. Sentence. This virus is unlikely the seasonal flu because there is currently no vaccine or herd immunity, he said. Incubation period. Noun. Meaning the time from a person's first exposure to a disease to the time when symptoms develop. Sentence. When they know the incubation period, they will know how long to keep people in quarantine. Infect. Verb. Meaning affect a human or animal with a disease causing organism. Sentence. But can it affect human beings? Infected. Adjective or past participle. Meaning affected with a disease causing organism. Sentence. They were able to cure the infected left lung before the infection could spread to the right lung. Infection. Noun. Meaning process of infecting, state of being infected, infectious disease. Sentence. Breast milk can help protect babies against various infections. Infectious. Adjective. Describing a disease that can be transmitted through the environment. Describing a human or animal capable of spreading an infection. Sentence. In 1878, an act was passed giving like powers in the case of infectious disease of animals. Isolate. Verb. Meaning keep an infected person away from the healthy people. Sentence. They will isolate anyone suspected of having the disease. Isolation. Noun. Meaning separation of infected people from healthy people for serious contagious diseases like COVID-19. Sentence. Travelers arriving from the infected area were immediately put in isolation. Mask. Noun. Meaning a piece of fiber or cloth that fits over the nose and mouth to protect other people from the wearer's germs and or the wearer from germs in the air. Sentence. When we are outdoors, we should wear mask. Novel coronavirus. Noun. Meaning the word novel means new and a newly identified coronavirus strain is often called a novel coronavirus. Sentence. Until they gave it a name, they mostly referred to COVID-19 as novel coronavirus. Outbreak. Noun. Meaning a sudden occurrence of a disease or other unpleasant thing. Sentence. There was another outbreak of disease in 1993, but the cause was uncertain. Pandemic. Noun. Meaning occurrence of a particular disease throughout a whole country or the world. Sentence. Just after the First World War, there was a pandemic of flu which killed up to 40 million people worldwide. Pathogen. Noun. Meaning a microorganism or germ such as a bacterium or virus that can cause disease. Sentence. Fortunately, most pathogens are dealt with by the body's immune system. Patient 0. Noun. Meaning the person identified as the first to become infected with a disease in an outbreak. Sentence. Authorities usually try to determine who patient 0 was in any given outbreak, as can help answer many important questions about how, when and why it started. PCR test. Noun. Meaning test that detects viral particles in blood or other body fluids. PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Sentence. The PCR test is one of the tools that doctors use to diagnose infectious diseases. Personal protective equipment. Noun. Special clothing, headgear, goggles, masks and other garments that shield people from injury or infection. Sentence. Much of the PPE owned by doctors and nurses has to be worn once only and destroyed after use. Person to person. Adjective. Meaning describing the spread of a disease from one person to another, typically through touch including shaking hands, kissing, sexual intercourse, etc. Sentence. In January, an infected American woman returning home from China transmitted the virus to her husband, making the first known example of person to person spread of the virus in the USA. Quarantine. Noun. Meaning isolation and monitoring of people who seem healthy but may have been exposed to an infectious disease to see if they develop symptoms. Sentence. For centuries, it's been common for ships arriving from infected areas to be kept in quarantine at the docks, originally for 40 days, which is where the term comes from. SARS-CoV-2. Noun. Meaning severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, final official name for the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. This virus was previously known as 2019 nCoV. Sentence. SARS-CoV-2 is the name of the virus and COVID-19 is the name of the disease. Screening. Noun. Testing of people for the presence of a disease. For COVID-19, the first step in screening is usually taking a person's temperature. Sentence. They now conduct screening for all incoming passengers. Self-isolate. Verb. Meaning isolate oneself, put oneself in quarantine away from other people. Sentence. The Prime Minister's wife has tested positive for COVID-19 and the couple are now self-isolating and working by phone and Skype. Social distancing. Noun. Practice of encouraging people to minimize contact and closeness, whether by banning large or even small groups or meetings such as football matches, nightclubs, or by maintaining a minimum distance between people, for example 1 meter or 2 meters. Sentence. The government has instructed schools to take social distancing measures to slow the spread of the virus. Superspreader, noun, meaning a person infected with a virus who transmits or spreads it to an unusually large number of people. One so-called super spreader in South Korea infected at least 37 people at her church with the coronavirus. Symptomatic, adjective, meaning showing symptoms of a particular disease. Sentence: anyone who is symptomatic is advised to phone a doctor and get tested. Symptoms, noun, a physical or mental feature that indicates illness or disease. Sentence: typical symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, coughing and shortness of breath. Test negative or test positive. Verb, meaning if you take a test for an infection and you test negative, that means you do not have the infection. If you test positive, that means you have the infection. Sentence: the president is pleased to announce that he has tested negative for the virus. Transmission, noun, meaning transfer of a disease from animal to human or from human to human. Sentence: transmission of many diseases can be direct or indirect. Transmit, verb, meaning often passive, cause a disease to pass from animal to human or from human to human. Sentence: many diseases are transmitted through physical contact. Treat, verb, meaning attempt to cure or alleviate an illness or injury through medical care. Sentence: doctors classify COVID-19 patients into mild, moderate, critical and treat accordingly. Treatment, noun, meaning medical care given to a patient for an illness or injury. Sentence: there is currently no specific antiviral treatment for COVID-19 and infected patients receive supportive care to help relieve symptoms. Viral, adjective, meaning describing something like caused by or relating to a virus or viruses. Sentence: COVID-19 is a viral disease. Vaccine, noun, meaning a substance used to protect humans and animals from a disease. Sentence: a vaccine for cholera was invented in 1879. Virus, noun, meaning a living thing too small to be seen without a microscope that causes infectious diseases in animals and humans. Sentence: like all diseases caused by viruses, the common cold cannot be cured with antibiotics. Zoonotic, adjective, meaning describing a disease that can be transmitted from animals to humans. Sentence: to protect yourself from zoonotic diseases, it's best to avoid bites and scratches from animals. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel Milesahead Academy for more such videos. Thank you.